She's getting there. Yeah, that.
Okay.
You have to unmute yourself.
You're officially live. Is that her number? Because I can unmute her.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, there's Paul.
All right. There you go, Joyce. You're
All right.
good.
Yay, Joyce. You made it. Woohoo.
Okay.
We
Hi,
see
Joyce.
you.
Paul, unmute yourself.
I didn't
Nope, you're
mute
good,
myself.
Joyce.
You're fine, Joyce. We're talking to Paul.
Oh, okay.
All right, I'm going to unmute him. I got you, Paul.
Thank you, Carrie.
You're welcome. Have to wait for
Paul.
there you go.
I'm in.
Yay!
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay, good.
Woohoo.
Hi, Paul.
Hey, Shannon. How you doing?
Oh my goodness. It's all my peeps.
All right. You've got 7:02. If you need anything, I'm in the background.
Thank you.
Thanks, Carrie.
Thank you, Carrie. You're awesome.
All right, we have a quorum. I'm not sure what's up with Frank and Carolyn. I know they were planning on attending, but Joyce is, I don't know if you guys noticed, but Joyce is doesn't have a video. She is only on the phone call, which is fine.
Oh, good. Okay.
So between myself and Joyce, we're just gonna have our very first Zoom meeting ever. I'm so excited. I know y'all have been doing them, but I haven't. Okay. But I'm happy to see you guys, and let's just I mean, I guess should I do attendance, Joyce? Because we really should maybe.
Yeah. Yeah,
Frank
you need to do it.
Carolyn.
Attendance.
Okay. All right. So Marty
Here.
here, Luke Murphy,
Here.
Paul Conway,
Sure thing.
Joyce,
Here.
Kim Miller here. Okay, Shannon McHugh here. Carrie's here in the background helping us out. Thank you, Carrie. So a lot of our stuff got pushed back, unfortunately. Everyone's did, you know. We really didn't have much of a say with COVID. So I don't think we're gonna have too long of a meeting tonight. So for old business, I think that's where we're gonna start first. I don't know if you guys got my initial.
Wait, you need to go back to the minutes from February 27th. You received them a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're putting minutes from February.
Uh-oh.
Yes,
Has
I
anyone
think
looked
we
at the
got them
February
in.
minutes?
I think we got them in March. I think. I've got
Yeah,
my
you
email
probably
from
got them sometime in March, before everything went down.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Yes, March 11th are the minutes, and I've got them right here. And I believe we have to have a motion to
Right,
approve
we have to
them.
approve them, but did
Right.
people get to look at them?
Yes.
Okay, so Luke, do you want a motion?
Sure. I would like to motion to approve the minutes. That's good. Approve the minutes.
Second.
Awesome. Oh, thank you. Joyce, so we can go into old business next, right? Because there's no new. Does anyone have any new? Did someone come in? No.
I'm sorry. Did the minutes get approved?
Yes. Paul
You
and Luke.
Okay. I'm sorry. I was being distracted. So, who moved them?
Luke was first. Paul was second.
Is Luke allowed to?
Michelle used to.
Why not?
Because
Actually, you know what?
he's a liaison. He's a liaison and not a voting member of the commission of the committee.
True. Luke might not. Sorry, Luke. Womp.
I
Okay.
withdraw my motion then.
Book. We love you anyway. Okay, Marty, what's up? Marty, you're on mute.
I move that we approve the minutes of February 27th, 2020.
Thank
I
you,
sec-
Marty.
I second my second.
Thank you.
Paul, thank you, Marty. Thank you, Luke, anyway. All right.
And then you have
So,
to say all in
Uh,
favor.
all
all
in
in
favor to
Aye.
approve the minutes?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? No, all abstain? Right? We're doing good, right, Joyce?
Right. You're doing good.
Okay. Old business is next, right? Because we haven't had any contacts from anyone.
I am not sure if my proposal is old business or what.
Uh,
I have stuff. I mean, that's what I was gonna say. If anybody got my email of what I was gonna speak about tonight, or some of the things we were gonna talk about. Paul, your proposal's in there.
Good.
I just want to make things sure. Joyce, is that what we're doing next?
yeah, we have no old business hanging over that, because you explained that the Job Corps workshops are on hold and the Trailblazer Award recognition is on hold.
The only,
And that's a,
the only other thing that was on old business on the other minutes was inviting Reverend Cynthia to come and talk to us.
Yeah,
right. And that's on hold now too.
right.
Although we have another Zoom meeting, she could certainly join us by Zoom
Yes,
if
good.
she wanted to. I don't know.
Sure, makes sense.
Well, I didn't reach out to either she or the person at Salvation Army who was willing to come, because I didn't know whether we were ready to try and put them in the Zoom meeting or not, and it wasn't critical. So,
Right. No, don't worry about it, Joyce.
yeah.
We're good. This is our very first Zoom meeting ever. I mean, we're good.
Yeah.
But we, if we're gonna continue to meet per Zoom, we can invite them in the future. So we're good. Okay, so as Joyce said, our Trailblazer Award is postponed. Job Corps is very excited to have us come back. They would love more workshops. Definitely also with the Chief Runner, if possible, having our leadership and know your rights groups and such. So they're very open. Jocelyn reached out to me a few times during COVID to say that. And also possibly something about staff trainings.
Mm.
So it's something I have to talk with her about. Yes, Marty.
Franklin's here. Franklin Chambers is here.
Yay, where? Frank! You unmute yourself.
I've been trying to get on my iPad and I couldn't, so I had to log on my phone. So I'm gonna still try to get on with my iPad. So
Good to see you, Frank.
Hi, Frank.
hello everyone, good seeing everyone.
Hey, Frank.
Joyce is here, but she's on the phone, just in case you're curious. She's not run away or anything. All right, so Job Corps is interested in us coming back. I think we still have a piece to do up at the college as well. Faith Timon contacted me a little bit, or as well as Jocelyn, about possibly doing work up there again, like we had in the past. So we have Paul's request with Professor Montoya. So Paul, I don't know if you want to speak a little bit more, since we haven't seen each other for a while.
Well, we did have the presentation to the committee from Professor Montoya,
Yes.
and she made a very impressive presentation on the situation for Hispanics in the area and the fact that they are probably unaware of some social services. I started out with the concern that they might not be aware of the so-called free medical center for people of limited means. And so we wanted to make sure they have translated brochures, one or more, so there would be information readily available to the Hispanic speaking population in the area. And the proposal I made after talking to Professor Montoya was that we finance or fund at least $200 to her and her associate. She's working with somebody else up there. Went up and had a long conversation after our last meeting and gave her the long list of social service agencies that was provided to me by Carolyn. And they have that list and are working with that list along with the information from the pre-medical health facility. So again, they're starting a project to find out as much as they can about what information is important to Hispanic peoples, maybe new people to the area, maybe not legally settled yet, but vulnerable. And of course, with the language problem for many of them, it would be really helpful if we have information readily translated and available to them. So 200 was the figure I came up with. And I think 250 was mentioned by Professor Montoya as an ideal, but whatever, we start out with a proposal for 200. Any questions about the idea?
Hello. So does anyone have any questions further for Paul and beyond the presentation we received from Professor Montoya?
Go ahead,
If I-
Luke.
Yeah, hey,
Go,
Paul.
Luke.
Would Professor Montoya be doing a lot of the translations herself, or would it be through partners of hers or contacts
Well,
of
she's
hers?
working with somebody else. I don't have the name under my nose, but I spoke to her pretty extensively too. She's very much a colleague. But they're going to get some work study students to help them. They may get some student help and train some student help. And some maybe volunteer and some maybe work study. And they may wind up paying some.
Okay, so I have a little bit more information. I was contacted by Professor Montoya's colleagues. The information that I received is that they were going to have 2 students that were going to be responsible for working on these brochures. And when we were doing like the back and forth, it became evident that they were looking to go into places that had existing brochures and turning them into Spanish brochures, Spanish-speaking brochures. I think when we all talked about this, our idea or what we thought was that there was going to be a brochure with a list of services, all these services that could be utilized in the community, versus going in to say, family services and picking up a Spanish-speaking brochure at family services. So I had asked if we could meet and sit down and like develop the idea some. And before COVID hit, we had actually had set a time to meet up. We were going to meet for coffee and work on the idea together so it could be more developed, you know, per what these brochures are for, who we're gearing them towards and such. But because COVID happened, everybody kind of, you know, fell off and was doing their own thing. They do have a great idea. I think it is something that as a commission we can back and support and, you know, be fully behind, because this is a population that doesn't get a lot of services here. That's what we're here for. So it does need a little bit of development, I think. And they seem very willing to do that.
Yeah, I think the main thing is that they do it because they can determine the needs of the Hispanic speaking community, and they can proceed pretty much with the knowledge they gather. It's pretty much an exploratory project from their point of view, and they will find out what's necessary or what's useful and be able to proceed with the development of one or more brochures. I think the idea of one brochure with a lot of social service agencies and information is a great one, but they might determine that they might need more or more specialized brochures. But let them decide, I would think.
So there was also this piece about when we go into these spaces and we say, here are these brochures, how are they maintained? Who then takes rights over those brochures? So if you're going into family services and giving them a Spanish speaking brochure, whose responsibility is it to go in and put new brochures in when people take them? So it's like building a relationship with those services. If you're making their brochures in Spanish and saying, hey, we'll create your brochures in Spanish so you can reach this population, but you have to agree to copy these and make sure that you are keeping them readily available to people who come in. So like, that's just one piece. There are things that need to get worked upon and developed. And I mean, they seemed very open to being, to developing them. Marty.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that one thing that I found very useful since I came to town almost 2 years ago, is I have this, somebody's got an echo. I think that's Bruce Franklin. I have this little spiral bound booklet that gives all the social services. Do you have that? Everybody have that?
Yeah, and actually Carolyn forwarded that booklet to Professor Montoya. So Professor Montoya has access to it. We just need to make sure that we're getting them up-to-date stuff. And the whole point of having it being one brochure is that you could take one brochure, hand them out to all of the different programs, and everybody's services are listed. It's not on any one group to make sure that they're getting copied and re-put out, copied and re-put out. It's basically like a serval versus going in and saying, okay, well, Planned Parenthood, I'm going to turn your brochure into Spanish. Who's responsible for then going in and making sure that they're out there, that those brochures are actually available? Are these students, is that their responsibility to refill these brochures?
I have another point, though, another question, and this might be a kind of a can of worms, but the reason that I'm wondering about it is because I've been watching the governor's daily briefing that he was doing. He did one yesterday, but then he had stopped after 111 days. But I watched almost 111 of them. And he actually got sued by somebody for not doing adequate translation, although we thought he had it covered, to a American Sign. So I was just wondering if these public services, aren't they required to offer things in Spanish?
I believe that some of their brochures are in Spanish. They are required to have translators, and it can be a call-in translator.
Right.
So if you go in to family services and you speak, Spati, they can call in a number and they can get somebody that speaks the same language for you.
Right.
I think that's required. The brochure thing, I don't think that that's like a legal requirement.
That's why I wondered, because it could be that we could fund the translation the first time, but then maybe there's some kind of, state law that says they have to continue to update it and provide it, but I don't know what the law is.
Yeah, I know that I believe Professor Montoya or her colleague said that it would be a native Spanish speaking person translating brochures. I'm not necessarily concerned so much with the translations versus how we go about making sure that our contribution continues to move forward and we can continue to help even after we've given the $200.
Well, is there any reason that we can't provide the contribution to get them started and then stay on top of how it works out as we go along?
Oh, wait, Carolyn, you're here? Hi, Carolyn. Carol. Not Carolyn. Carol, my brain. Okay. Carol's here.
I couldn't get into the Zoom meeting to save my life. I go in them every day, but I was locked out, so I just called in on my phone.
Okay, that's fine. Joyce called in as well. But I'm happy we're all here. Thank you.
Sorry. I started trying 15 minutes early, but I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Okay, thank you for coming, Carol.
Hi, Carol.
Hi.
Shannon, I want to pick up with where you left off.
Absolutely.
Shannon, where you left off is whether we can just cut them loose to begin the exploratory study. And then, you know, and when we find out what they're doing as they go along, help them out, stay on top of it, but at least get them started with a couple of $100. That might be a little, you know, a good start for what things
Joyce?
can be done.
I'm sorry, Paul. Joyce, we have $800, right?
As far as I know, yes.
Okay. We use about 60 of that for Trailblazer, right?
I'd have to go. I don't have that figure on top of my head, but it wasn't more than 100.
Yeah.
Well, it would be 100 or less, depending on how many certificates we have to frame.
So let's say 100.
Yeah.
Because I was hoping to have a picnic this year. Due to COVID, I don't know how or when that would happen. So my picnic ideas are kind of out the window. But figure we spend about $75 on Job Corps. I mean, $200. I feel like $200 would kind of be like where we'd be able to go with it, Paul. Do you know what I'm saying? Like above and beyond that.
You think that's the max?
Yeah, I mean, because we have other stuff. We also hopefully our farmers markets will come back, and we have you know, the college is asking us to come up and do some work with them. So, you know, $200.
Okay, I'll just make that my formal
$200
motion.
out of our $800 budget is
1/4.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'd make that my formal motion. $200 be provided to Professor Montoya and her group that would get a project started.
I agree, little child. Okay. So let's have is everybody who wants to say anything? Anybody have any points they want to make or questions they want to ask? Paul's making.
I'm concerned that what he is saying is that in agreement with what you have done as you have met with Professor Montoya and the plans you were making with her.
Right. The information I was given was a little bit different than what was presented at the meeting. And what I had believed was happening was like a one-stop brochure. What I received as proposal was they were going to go around and grab brochures already out there and translate them. So there's like a little bit being lost. That's why I wanted to sit and develop with them before we had it proposed at a meeting, so that they could come with something strong. So it was like one idea, everybody's on the same page. But because of COVID, that wasn't able to happen.
You know, we could sharpen this if you want to say we would like them to develop one brochure to begin with. They can determine what the needs are beyond one brochure, which had a more comprehensive listing of agencies that are available to Hispanic-speaking people.
Right.
And then if there's any need for more, they can proceed on their own with their own projects too. But we can specify that we want them to start with one brochure, which is kind of comprehensive.
Which I think, honestly, if you are out in the community and you're Spanish speaking and you pull a brochure down and it's just for one program, you know, versus if you pull the brochure down and it's for 18 programs in our community, the all-encompassing one is going to be more beneficial. So, and like I was trying to point out, you know, when you have programs, whose responsibility is it to keep those brochures, you know, there for people? Then you're trying to get them involved and they have to agree that they're going to refill them and copy them, and whose responsibility is that?
Well,
so I agree, Paul. I think that making sure that we say specifically our hopes are to achieve one brochure with a myriad of different programs.
Okay, can we,
Yeah. Paul,
Can we-
I have a problem.
go ahead. Joyce.
I have a problem with us telling them what we're going to do, as opposed to asking them what they want. And when they come figure out exactly what they want, then I think it's time to put money to it.
Right. So what they
I
want.
know how anxious you are to get things going, but I don't think we should be the ones who dictate to them what they do. I think they should be the ones that figure out what they feel they need to do.
Well,
Right,
I'm fine with that, but I'm saying also, if we go that route, give them $200, we can certainly trust Professor Montoya to be really responsible and to not waste a penny, and to pursue the needs of the Hispanic-speaking people in the community. But I'd like to just get them going either way.
Well,
Yeah.
Paul, I can remember back when we first started a relationship with them, and ideas were thrown out. And then as they pursued the details of what was thrown out, they had to completely change their plan. And so for us to say, we think you should do this brochure this way, assure them that we will be putting up money, but until we know we have their plan of a brochure.
Okay. So Joyce, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Is where I'm coming from.
Joyce, so what their plan is what I said. Their plan and what they would like to do is to go into the various businesses or the various non-for-profits, take their brochure and translate them. That's what they would like to do.
Okay, and so
And I have issues with that. Like I was saying, and prior that I had some concerns with that, which is why I was saying, I was asking them if they could develop with us so that maybe, we could ask them, about a one-all brochure, which is what I kind of got the impression of at the presentation. So I was a little confused when they were saying that they were going to go in and take brochures and translate them and bring them back, kind of thing. So, but that's what they want. And what I'm hoping is for the one brochure.
then I think it needs further conversation, which nails down which is going to work for them and for us.
Right.
With the assurance that, there's money once we know and have a suitable plan. I don't know, what do the others feel? Are they comfortable just giving the
I think-
200?
Luke,
Yeah, I think it would be very beneficial just to make sure that we all know what's being voted on. Even if it's a short proposal from Professor Montoya, something written just to make sure that we're all on the same page might be beneficial.
So so initially they sent me an email and a write-up of what they would like to do. And based on that write-up, I started conversing with them saying, my impression was of what was going to happen. Do you mind if we work on this? Can we develop this, before we bring it in front of? I was talking with Paul too about, this back and forth. Can we develop this further before we bring it to the commission? And as far as I knew, they were okay with meeting with me and us trying to develop further on it. It just hasn't happened yet because of COVID.
Well, it looks like we're at an impasse at this moment. Shannon, if you get any emails from Professor Montoya in the future, would you share them with everybody about what she's going to
Not
do?
Professor Montoya. It's and it's I don't want to say
Alexandra?
the wrong thing.
Alexandra is the name?
I can forward the email out.
Okay, I'm disappointed because I think $200 is a piddly way to help them get started, and I give them complete leeway as to what they think should be done for the Hispanic-speaking community. But if that's the way people feel, they want to get into a kind of ongoing negotiation or whatever, there's not much I can do.
Paul, I would be, with you. It doesn't seem like a lot of money to, try and manage. But who knows? Everything is so up in the air right now that, it would be nice to have a project that you're funding exactly what it is, but it still is hard to wait and wait till next month or whenever we can meet again to have to approve it again.
So Paul, if you want to go ahead, I mean, you're already very aware of like what we're hoping for from this brochure. I can forward you the email that they sent me asking what, for what they would like to see, which is going in and getting brochures. If you want to go ahead and sit with them and develop it further, then do my best, and you can bring it back.
Personally, I don't want to get into developing the project myself. I don't think I have much to offer along those lines. I think they can do it. But if you want me to go to Professor Montoya again and ask for some kind of write-up of what they think they can do, I'll do that and bring it back and share it with everybody in the commission. And then hopefully next time we can put it to a vote.
I have an email. I have a write-up already. I will send you what they sent me. They agreed to develop with me prior, before it came before the commission. And you can go ahead and take it and go to Professor Montoya and her colleague and say, this is what the commission is hoping for, if that's okay.
Okay with me, I'll do that. And hopefully we'll bring it to a vote next time when it's written up in a way that's clear enough for everybody to see.
Okay. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
So the last two things we're going to talk about are protests and Luke's resolution. Woo! Okay. So protest. Paul, it was very nice to see you out at protest.
I was a protest addict for a while there. I got to Delhi and Cooperstown and Oneonta.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really interesting.
I'm sorry I couldn't be there. I was quarantined because I had just come back from a long trip.
Well, it's great to see so many young people, especially, really involved and activated and really progressive in their thinking about race relations.
Yeah, I'm so proud of Sadie Starr Lincoln. I've been watching her grow up her whole life, and it's just wonderful that she took it upon herself to start that ball rolling. She's just a great kid.
Terrific.
Go ahead. Who's
Shannon made a fine speech up in Cooperstown.
Yes, well done, Shannon. It was inspiring, and it was really nice to see. I unfortunately was unable to make the Oneonta rally, but I made it to Cooperstown, and to see that many people in Cooperstown was incredible. I mean, it was 850 Cooperstown's 15.
Yeah,
that's like half the population of the village of Cooperstown in one spot.
Right.
And it was great to see so many people still practicing social distancing. I think I wouldn't imagine I saw more than 1 or 2 people out of that many without some form of mask on. It's really nice to see that people are taking so many things seriously. I mean, it's really important to get out and protest, and it's also, unfortunately, we've got this triple whammy between the virus, the economy, and everything that's happening. It's nice to see that we're all able to still maintain those distances, because we don't want things to spiral and people really
Right.
sick.
An interesting point, Luke, was that Cooperstown was much more spread out than Oneonta or
Mhm.
Delhi. Much more.
Oh, was it?
Yep.
Yeah, there was good spacing. There was really good spacing by the courthouse there.
True.
Yeah, they were walking around with hand sanitizer and masks.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, so I personally spoke at Oneonta, Cooperstown, and Unadilla, or Unadilla Sydney, or whatever. It was really beautiful to see that many people come out to spaces that you're not expecting them. We had very little county protesting, and when we did, I kind of just stood in front of them and blocked them. Got other people to block them, gently and moving, luckily. Nothing too crazy. And it was also nice. I kind of pulled the crowds, like who was in Oneonta, who was in Cooperstown, who was, and it was a lot of the same people, but there was a lot of new people too. Families, kids, it was really beautiful. So it was really nice to see Oneonta especially step up. There were so many people. I could not believe how many people came out to Oneonta. I was so proud of Oneonta.
I was proud of OPD too. they didn't even bother to show up. They're so supportive.
Yep,
So,
they trusted us and they believed that we were going to have a peaceful situation,
Yep.
and we did. We had a peaceful protest, and it wasn't necessary for their presence. Unfortunately,
Chief-
we hung around, but so protests were good. And now, Luke, I'm going to put you on the hot seat. We have to talk about the resolution. Everyone, give it up for Luke and his resolution.
Thank you, Shannon. It was, we had a lot of folks reaching out to the city asking, what are we going to do? What are we going to do to confirm that we hear voices of pain and that we acknowledge voices of pain, that we want to address the injustices that have been done to members of the community that are not as privileged as many of us are. So, and really inspired by your speech, Shannon. I was looking for ways to go about it beforehand, and Shannon really helps whether she knew it or not write it. But the resolution, which I apologize, Paul, I sent it to you, and I when Paul asked, and I forgot to click reply all. So I sent the copy of the resolution. I think, did everybody get it? Even if you didn't have a chance to look, I just wanted to make sure. Okay, Marty, I'll be sure to make sure it gets sent to you.
I didn't.
You didn't get it either, Joyce?
No.
Oh, okay.
I didn't get it either. That's why my thumbs down.
Okay, okay, Frank. I'm so I apologize. I thought I hit reply all, but I will after the meeting make sure I send it out to everybody. It's really reaffirming that the city will do whatever we can to ensure that we are living up to our promises. We preach acceptance, we preach equality, we preach equity, and we really need to start putting our money where our mouth is. The mayor is currently working on a commission, which I don't have many details about, unfortunately, other than it's similar to a community review board, which would see issues of police misconduct brought before the citizen, can't remember the exact wording, citizen or community review board. And details will be made more available as they come into existence. I know that is pretty close to the top of the mayor's priority list at the moment. He's working with Chief Brenner, and we are being informed as developments happen. So that I think is a really good way to really good development. I think it's important that we have that. It shows that the community really is holding everyone accountable, not just us, the people that were voted in, but as well as the police who are here to serve all of us and to make sure that that is the case. And the resolution that we put forward, and that was thankfully passed unanimously, which was great. It was a bipartisan passed bipartisan. I'm sorry. I got the fan blowing in my face. It's getting me. Anyway,
Go ahead. Okay.
just to make sure, I guess the short of it is to ensure that we are practicing what we preach, and really holding us accountable to make sure that we are working to ensure that there is equality in the city of Oneonta, and to not only discourage but go after any form of racism that we see.
Awesome. I'm gonna say quickly, I did email Gary because newspapers have reached out to me for like a news clip for what I felt about the resolution. I had no clue about it. So I messaged Luke like crazily. I didn't end up giving anything like a code or anything, but Gary did say that it was something he was high priority, he was working on currently, and that he open to considering someone from the Human Rights Commission, that's not out of the question. So that's something one of us might be asked to do, possibly. It would make sense that somebody from our Community Relations and Human Rights Commission might sit on a board like that. So we'll see what happens. But Luke, thank you again for taking those steps.
Yeah, absolutely. And I apologize that I messed up with the email. I'm looking through it right now to send it to all of you to make sure you have it. So I apologize for that.
No, it's all good. Does anyone have any questions, concerns, communication?
I just wanted to mention that, Joyce Miller put out in front of our church, we have a group that's decided to do more community messaging to just make sure Oneonta knows how much we love you, from First United Methodist, which is on the corner of Chestnut and Church Street. So Joyce put out a sign in front of our church about a week ago, 2 weeks ago, that says, Black and brown lives do matter. And most of it, all the feedback I've gotten from our church has been awesome, but several calls have come in very irate. And sadly, some were, a lot of them were anonymous. So I don't usually listen to anonymous complaints. I think that's cowardly. But I certainly, if people call and then give their name and they will talk to me as a pastor, I'm happy to talk with them about it. And I did have a couple of conversations, but basically the feedback from the more negative was that we were trying to incite violence, which I don't know where they get that from. But anyway, I'm proud of us and I'm glad that we have that out in front of our church.
There was a very powerful, Marty, I saw counter argument to the folks saying all lives matter, which, of course they do, but not all lives are suffering. Not all lives are being taken at different rates. But there was a very powerful verse in Luke about, I believe, and I can't remember the exact, but it was talking about the 1 versus the 99.
Yeah.
And I was planning on sharing it, but I got sucked into another Facebook portal. But it was a very powerful verse.
Yeah, it's basically like if you have 100 sheep, right?
Yes, that's what it was. Yes.
Field, right? And one of them wanders off in danger from being eaten by wolves, right? It's your livelihood. You only have 100 sheep. The other 99 are sick. So you get your stuff together and your people together to go out and find the one sheep that's missing to save it. It's in danger. The other 99 don't matter. They still mean as much to your farm and your income. you go take care of the one that's actually in danger and bring it back to where it's not. So is that what you're talking about, Lee?
Yeah, and I'm awfully sorry to hear about that, Marty. That people are having such a hard time with this. But
Well,
oops, I think you muted, Marty.
you made a very helpful response because that is what some people said. Either put up all lives matter or take the thing down. And I said, I'm not doing either one. This is our message and we're sticking to it.
Thank you, Marty.
I also should say that we're teaching in Imagine No Racism classes for 6 weeks this summer. It is from more of our faith traditions point of view, but I put out 3 classes and I've got 30 people signed up. So they keep filling up. Which is good.
Yeah.
A couple of people from St. Mary's, it's not just my church. So we probably will offer it again in the fall. It's a very good curriculum. It's quite hard hitting and makes you face up to because it's about systemic racism, not so much about individual attitudes. So
and all of these all of these presentations, all of these things people are doing are beautiful. And I can't wait till we're all together and we can sit down and come up with things to bring to Job Corps and the colleges, and we have new ideas and new platforms. I'm really excited for when we're able to do that again. I really can't wait. I'm so sad about our farmers markets and stuff. But does anyone else have any questions or comments? Frank, you're good?
One question. So I think I just forwarded the email again to all of you. Let's see. And it does say it was sent, so I just wanted to make sure that most people got it. Oh, there we go. And I got an email from Carrie that some of it did go to spam account, so it might be in your spam if it's not in your immediate inbox. But I did get a message from Carrie that it did go through again.
Okay. Thank you, Carrie. All right. So anybody else? Frank, you good? Okay. Anything?
I'm good if I can figure out how to take the unmute off. I'm good, Shannon. Thanks for asking.
All right. Just want to make sure. Joyce, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I just want to apologize that I was not at any of the protest marches because I had unexpected gallbladder surgery. And I'm all recovered now. I'm fine, but it did keep me at home instead of going out to events because I would love to have been there.
Well. Very good to hear you're well, Joyce.
Yeah. It's better you take care of that now, Joyce. We need you. Carol.
Joyce, I'm glad you're doing better.
Thank you.
Yes.
Carol, do you have any questions?
Yeah.
Are you good?
Yes, I'm good. I'm just listening. I'm thinking because I've had to cancel the hometown 4th of July, so I got plenty of messages from people about the protests and, you know, why can't we have our patriotic holiday when these protests? So, you know, I've been you know, mulling that all lives matter question over in my mind for weeks now, but it's too much discussion about it, you know. I think of the countries where women, you know, it's okay to kind of murder women and no one ever gets arrested for it. It's like, if all lives matter, then how do some people be treated so unfairly and get literally killed and there are no repercussions? So I get very aggravated when I hear all lives matter. It seems so mean-spirited in some way, but yeah, I've been dealing with that a lot on Facebook. But
Educate. That's all you can do because ignorance is a mean thing. It's not
there's
blissful.
there's got to be an analogy that works, that will get through to people and they'll understand what that means. I think from the very beginning it should have probably been all Black Lives Matter too. You know what I mean? That one word might have avoided all of this nonsense. But it didn't. So anyway, that's my only thought. But and I'm sorry I couldn't go to the protests either. I had family things going on right then. But I was really proud of everyone.
That's awesome. Thank you. I mean, in spirit is just as there. I appreciate all of you. You all are busy. You have such big lives. You're doing big things, and I appreciate your time and the effort you do put in. But Kayla, actually, one of my friends tried to explain it the other day, the All Lives Matter, by saying that his wife asked if he loved her. And he said, well, no, I love everyone. What are you talking about? And
Right.
He is like, well, I love everyone because everybody matters. I love everybody. All the women matter. Everyone.
Yeah, and then
wouldn't say
anybody is. It seems so understandable. Anybody who's being treated unfairly, can ask, "Do I matter? I mean, does my life matter? Does my opinion matter?" It's a reasonable question. But I guess it's hard to explain to certain people. But.
Yeah.
And it's just tragic that it needs to be said because clearly a lot of people don't think it's true.
Right.
And it is. And that's why it's so important that we say Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, I think it's about the most benign thing you could possibly say. It's not, inflammatory, and yet, oh well, it's a long conversation. Like I said, it's just.
Well, yeah, all lives matter certainly is benign, but that's the problem. You have to get beyond that.
Right. I know. I just keep wishing there was a retort where people would just go, aha, now I know what you mean. But,
of course, all lives matter. But
right.
A lot of lives have been neglected.
Right.
Exactly.
But go ahead.
I did see another version that I debated using, which said, all lives matter when Black Lives Matter.
Right.
Oh, good. That's a good one. Yeah. So like we need a marketing campaign to convince these guys instead of just alienating them all. And that, as I drive around the country looking at all the Trump 2020 signs for our future. But anyway, okay. That's the end of my comments.
Well, I'm going to have to go outdoors too. Are you outdoors now, Shannon? My dogs drive me crazy here trying to get out.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, my phone moves. I'll go anywhere. We can Zoom anywhere.
Gotcha.
I'm up in the Adirondacks camping with a bunch of little kids. So I found a
you're
quiet
camping?
spot.
What?
Yes, I'm outside under the pine trees by a fire, but I had to run around a lot looking for a quiet space, but I found one. So.
Beautiful. Well, all right. So, Paul, you're going to go ahead and I'm going to email you what they sent me, and you're going to contact them.
And I'm going to ask them to write up what they're going to do, and then we'll bring it to a proposal and vote on it next time.
Okay. Maybe give them a little bit direction. More like I was like going to help. I mean, you don't have to obviously tell them what to do, but just like we were going to work on development. So, Luke, you're killing it. I have nothing. Do you have anything? Anything to add? You're good?
Nope.
All right.
It looks like you're at the bottom. It looks like Luke is at the bottom of South America from what I can see.
Paul, you're funny.
No, I don't think I have anything to add. Just thank you everybody for doing what you do, and on my end of things, I'll keep pushing.
Good.
Best of my ability.
That's wonderful. Good to hear, Marty. We're good?
Yep.
All right. Guys, this has been such a great first Zoom. I'm proud of you
It's
all.
great to see
You have no
everybody again.
idea.
Okay.
Such a
Bye.
good job. Carrie, thank you.
You're
Thanks.
very welcome.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Shannon.
let's give it up to Carrie for a minute for helping.
Thank you, Carrie.
Yay! Thank you, Carrie.
I don't know why
Thanks,
I couldn't get on this Zoom, but maybe I'm still in another meeting that I was in this afternoon, but who knows? But I'll try and figure it out what I did
And
wrong.
if you still have issues, touch base with me and we can troubleshoot a little bit. Same goes for you, Joyce, because I see you had some trouble. So
Yeah. Okay.
at least through July, you're going to be remote. So they've extended that. So if you choose to have a July meeting, you'll be meeting on the same platform.
Oh, it's still going to be Zoom for July?
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Well, apparently we're going to learn to love Zoom.
Yeah. I love Zoom and I can get on.
Yeah.
But when I
I was gonna
went
say,
to put my password on, I couldn't get join to light up.
So our
Good.
July meeting would be the 4th Thursday, not the 5th, right? Because there's 5 Thursdays in July.
Right, it would be the 4th.
The 23rd, right?
Yeah.
I'm
Carrie,
Yes,
Carrie, July 23rd, 7 p.m.
you're on.
Awesome. All right, guys. I think we're done.
Excellent.
If you want to email
Thank
me
you.
any questions or concerns, Facebook me, message me, text me, anything. Or Joyce.
Okay.
She's
And Marty, I
on
just
Zoom
emailed
here.
you. Take care, everybody. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Luke,
Bye.
I didn't get that email tonight.
Bye, Frank.
Okay, Joyce, I will email it to you too. I don't know why it's going